Magic the Gathering is a great game to play but can often be confusing, especially if you're a new player. That's why we've created the Beginner's Guide to Magic to hopefully answer any questions you have. In this episode, we're going to take a brief overview over some of the key formats and logistical need-to-knows before we get into how to play the game. Okay, it's a little boring unless you really like to know the full ins and outs of things, but learn from our mistakes and don't waste money on cards that are not legal in the format you want to play. Formats can be simplified into two categories: constructed and limited. Limited games are when players are given sealed booster packs of Magic cards from which they can only use those cards to build a 40 card deck. The most popular forms of this are draft and sealed. Constructed games are when the players have the opportunity to build a deck out of chosen cards before gaming events. The most popular competitive formats currently are Standard and Modern. Standard is where most players begin their Magic the Gathering journey. Standard uses the most recently released Magic sets, which gives you a smaller card pool to choose from. This makes learning the format easier because there are less cards to remember and fewer mechanics to understand. It's also more cost effective as a lot of the older cards are more expensive due to a lack of availability. So, how do you know which cards you can and can't play? Well, each year Wizards of the Coast releases 4 sets of Magic cards which are playable in Standard. Sets are released in September, January, April and July. When the September set is released, all the sets up to the previous September rotate out and are no longer in Standard. Let's take a look at this in action as an example. Let's start our journey in January 2016. Oath of the Gatewatch has just released. The following April, we get a new set, Shadows over Innistrad. This is followed by Eldritch Moon in July. With the release of Kaladesh in September 2016, all of the sets released in 2015 rotate out of Standard and are no longer legal to play. So we say goodbye to Khans of Tarkir, Fate Reforged, Dragons of Tarkir and Magic Origins. Battle for Zendikar and the following sets of that year moved down and are now known as the Older Block. Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation are all released in 2017, and in September 2017 we rotate again with the release of Ixalan. Time of recording, these are the sets that are currently in Standard. But when we get to September 2019, Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Dominaria and the core set will then rotate out of Standard and no longer be legal. The full list of sets legal in Standard is always available on the Wizards of the Coast website. So now you know what sets are playable in Standard, but how do you know which cards belong to which set? Well, on the bottom of every card is a 3-letter code unique to that set. For example, here we see DOM. This is the code for Dominaria. However, this can be quite tricky to remember, so there's a visual aid to help you. The easiest way to see which set a card belongs to is by looking at the set symbol on the card and matching it to the relevant set. Another thing you need to know about cards and formats is that there is a ban list which is updated periodically by Wizards of the Coast. Whilst I'm sure Wizards aim to have 0 cards banned, every now and then a card is released which is too powerful for the meta and action must be taken. For example, Rampaging Ferocidon is a card from a current Standard set of Ixalan. However, this card is currently banned in the Standard format. This is largely due to its abilities preventing life gain, making red decks far too strong and oppressive at the time. Finally, you may find that you have some older cards that you can play with. Often, cards are reprinted into Standard, re-establishing their legality. If we take the card Negate as an example, you will notice that this printing of Negate is from a set that is not legal in Standard. However, the card was reprinted with the release of Rivals of Ixalan, meaning it is currently a legal card to play. Providing a card has been printed in a current Standard set, you are allowed to use any previous printing of the card in your matches. There's no need to rebuy it from the new set. If you have found this video useful, please like, share and subscribe, and you can find further tips in our playlist of the Beginner's Guide to Magic. You can also leave a comment below with your tips. We want to share and grow the community. And if you want to find out any more new player tips, you can check out our social feeds at Making Mythic. See you next time.